For the kind introduction and greetings to everyone here. I feel so honored and humbled to be here at this forum. My presentation today will be covering a very specific area of the intelligent packaging technology. As you can see in the title, Time Temperature Indicators, TTI. And this technology can be used to track, mimic, and display the real-time quality decline process of perishable products. I myself come from a chemistry background. Our lab at Peking University has done something interesting in this related area, and we are more than happy to share our data here at this forum. Before I start on the TTI technology, please allow me to make a brief introduction on our lab at Peking University, the key laboratory of rare earth material chemistry and application, which is located in Peking University. For the past 3 decades, the lab has been devoted to the research on rare earth chemistry, material, and industry. The lab was previously led by Professor Xu Guangxian, who is a laureate of the State Supreme Science and Technology Award of China in 2008. And the lab is now currently led by Professor Chunhua Yan, who is also my supervisor. So in this presentation, I will start with a brief and general introduction on the TTI technology, and go on to discuss the principles for a chemical TTI, how to design a chemical TTI, and I will then demonstrate the TTI model we developed at Peking University and show its performance on monitoring the quality decline process of some typical perishable products. So I think we're all familiar with the concept of perishable products, which includes foods, beverages, pharmaceuticals, and vaccines and cosmetics. We call them perishables because their quality degrades over time owing to some chemical or biochemical deteriorative process. For example, microbial growth, lipid oxidation, enzymatic reactions, vitamin degradation, hydrolysis, and protein denaturation. So for perishables on their packaging, we can usually see this data. You can call it expiration date, sell-by date, or best before date, something like that. And this information is meant to help people judge whether this product is good or bad. However, we all know that time is not the only parameter that has influences on the quality of perishable products. Another key, important factor is temperature. For example, this carton of milk, it can be good for 28 days at 4 degrees Celsius. But what if the temperature goes up? When the temperature goes higher, how long can it survive? We all know that there is a negative correlation between the temperature and the shelf life of perishable products. Higher temperature would shorten the shelf lives. Let's take a look at a representative deteriorative process, microbial growth. In this image, you can see coli multiplying exponentially. Mathematically, we have this differential equation in which n represents the population of bacteria and k represents the growth rate of the bacteria. By solving this equation, we have this result in which we can see the key part is the integral of k over time. And k, as we know, the k is the growth rate of bacteria, and it is temperature dependent. At higher temperature, the bacteria will multiply much faster. So let's take a look at the delivery chain of common customers, from the manufacturers to transporters to dealers like supermarkets, and finally to common customers like us. If we want to know the exact quality status of the product, we have to know the temperature history during this delivery chain, because there might be some temperature fluctuations during the process. So temperature history is the key factor here, and if there has been some temperature abuse during the delivery chain, the product may go bad even before the printed expiration dates. So the inaccuracy of the printed shelf life labels can lead to some problems like safety issues. For example, the recent vaccine scandal in China And we know the vaccines in question has been unduly exposed to some dangerously high temperatures, which compromise their validity. And similar problems can also be found everywhere in the world. And another problem with the inaccuracy of the printed shelf lives is food waste. And here are some data in US and the UK that you can see the numbers are staggering. So in 2013, the NRDC, the National Resource Defense Committee, together with Harvard University, had published an issue paper entitled "The Dating Game: How a Confusing Food Date Labeling System in the United States Leads to Food Waste," in which they made some suggestions, including make sell-by dates invisible to the consumers because they're confusing, and to establish a uniform consumer-facing dating system, and number 3, to increase use of safe handling instructions and smart tags. And the TTI technology I will be discussing today is a kind of the smart tags. Here's a slide to show how the smart tags work, how the TTI works. As we discussed earlier, the temperature history during the delivery chain is a key factor that influences the quality of the product. And the TTI is supposed to be attached to the packaging of the product at the very beginning, by which I mean from the manufacturer, and it goes along the delivery chain with the product and documents and undergoes the same temperature history. So you can see the key function of the TTI is to track the product during the delivery chain and to document the temperature history, to simulate the spoilage therein, and to display the real-time quality of the product. And there are two major categories of the TTIs. The first is electronic-based TTIs, which can take the form of data loggers or RFID chips. I see this topic will be covered later, which I'm very much looking forward to. And these electronic-based TTIs, they feature a very flexible programmability and therefore wide applicability, and they are compatible with common electronic devices. The problem is that they are usually of high cost, which so they need to be recycled, usually at the supermarket stage. So the information stored in there cannot be accessed to common customers like us. And the second category of TTI is the chemical-based ones, which uses some color-changing physical chemical reactions to mimic the spoilage in the food, in the perishable products. For example, dye diffusion and enzymatic reactions. And for these TTIs, they are generally of low cost and can go down to the single package level and delivered to end users, so covering the entire delivery chain from the manufacturer to the consumers. And since they are of low cost, they can be readily disposable. But problem with the conventional chemical TTIs is that they are relatively less programmable, by which I mean their lifespan cannot be widely tuned in a broad range, and therefore limit their applicability. Here's a slide show how a chemical TTI work. We see over time the quality of a product declines. Let's again take microbial growth as an example. At a lower temperature, for example, the bacteria in there multiplies, and we can see at that point, we can see we say that the product has gone from good to bad. And so the problem, so the work for us is to make the TTI, the smart tag, go from green to red, for example, within the same period of time. So in this configuration, you can say the green color represents the green color of the tag means the food, the product is at its best state, is 100% fresh, and blue means less fresh, and red can mean it has gone bad. And when the temperature goes higher, we know the bacteria grows faster and shortens the shelf life. And the magical thing about the chemical TTI is that they can also respond to temperature changes. If the temperature goes higher, the chemical reaction in the tag also got accelerated. So now they are all, so now in this configuration, you can see the correlation between the product quality and the color of the TTI is also the same. So now we can establish a quality and color correlation, which is temperature independent. And no matter the temperature is high or low, green always means it's fresh, and red always means it's bad. You can have this chart for reference. It's like the standard cards for pH strips. And here I'll demonstrate the TTI we developed in our university. To design a chemical TTI, we have to find a system that shows a sharp visual color comparison and preferably a widely programmable kinetics to cover all, most kinds of perishable products. And the minimal cost and low toxicity is also required. Our lab has found this chemical system that shows a fascinating color changing properties. You can see at the beginning it shows a color of red or pink, and a long time it self-evolves into orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, magenta, and finally back to red. And the color changing performance can also be retained when the solution is solidified as gels. And here I have a video showing the entire color changing process, but I just learned it cannot be played due to some software incompatibility. And here are some key parameters I need to stress. The color changing lifespan at 4 degrees Celsius can be widely tuned from hours to years. So it can be used for perishables with short shelf lives and long shelf lives. And its temperature range is very wide, from -10 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius. And the key ingredient in this, in this chemical TTI is the self-evolving nanomaterial. You can see from the images we take under the electronic microscope. The metallic nanorods, over time, it grows longer and thicker, and therefore the color of the tag changes correspondingly. Here shows some samples we fabricated in our lab. We used the green color as the initial state, and you can see it goes from green to blue to violet and finally to red. Here it's arranged in a clockwise configuration. And each of the tag is about the size of a button, and it can be readily attached to the packaging of milks and other things. Another thing I need to stress is that we need to take into consideration the temperature sensitivity of the both processes, because like we discussed before, at higher temperature the process will be accelerated. We need to make sure that the tag, the chemical reaction in the tag and the spoilage process in the food has to be equally sensitive to the temperature variations, and so they can be synchronized. And in this way, we found by introducing some additive into the recipe, the temperature sensitivity can be readily tuned. It can be highly sensitive to temperature or less sensitive to temperature. So for the temperature sensitivity in physical chemistry, there is a parameter named apparent activation energy, or EA, that represents this parameter is used to describe the temperature sensitivity of the system. And in this chart, I listed the EA value range of some common deteriorative processes found in food, for example, diffusion-controlled reactions, microbial growth, enzymatic reactions, hydrolysis, and this is the EA range tunable for our TTI. So you can see it covers a substantial part of the spectrum, so which means the TTI can be used to indicate a vast number of perishable products and the deteriorative process in there. So we took microbial growth in milk as an example to test the efficacy of our TTI. We chose 30 degrees Celsius and examined and recorded the population of bacteria in there. It shows exponential growth behavior. And at lower temperatures, 20 degrees Celsius, the time would be longer, and the time would be almost 6 times longer. And so with this data, we optimize the recipe of our TTI, and we make sure they are also the TTI is equally sensitive to the temperature. You can see the time difference is also almost 6-fold. So we recorded over time the bacteria population and the color of the TTI at 30 degrees Celsius. And the same data were also collected at 20 degrees Celsius. If we eliminate the column of time, now the quality of the milk and the color of the TTI can be directly correlated. We chart, if we plot this data into charts and we merge them, you can see they are almost perfectly superimposed. So, which means no matter the temperature is low or high, the correlation between the color of the TTI and the quality of the product is the same. Green always means that it's most fresh, and red means it has gone bad, no matter the temperature changes or not. And we also tested the TTI with another process, the VC degradation in juice, and we found the process is also well synchronized, no matter the temperature changes or not. As for the ingredients in this, TTI, there are multiple chemical reagents, and we paid particular attention on this matter. And most of the ingredients have already been extensively used in food industry. You can even find them in your kitchen, for example, in candies, in yogurt, in your toothpaste. So this guarantees safety and a low cost. So to recap, our university has developed this highly programmable chemical TTI, which can be used to indicate the quality degradation of a vast number of perishable products. This technology has been patented in China, and the university has started a spin-off company in which my colleagues and I are trying to bring this smart tag into marketplace. And the merits, it features sharp visual color comparison and a readily and widely programmable kinetics, and low consumption and minimal expense, satisfactory safety to human and environment, and it can indicate the quality of perishables in a non-contact and non-destructive way. You don't even have to open the container. And to summarize, the key function of TTI is to indicate the real-time quality status of perishable products, no matter the temperature fluctuates or not. So, and it can, because it is attached on the outside of the packaging, it indicates it does not interact with the food, with the food or beverages therein. So you don't have to worry about a contamination or something like that. And it indicates the quality in a non-destructive and a non-contact manner. And it is also compatible with most packaging materials, for example, plastics, glass, papers, and metals. And the TTI I'm talking about is only a very small area in the regime of intelligent packaging, which scientists and authorities are arguing people should gradually abandon the old dating system and trying to embrace the new technologies that is smart, intelligent, and dynamic on the quality control. And I hope the TTI technology can serve as a watchdog for perishables during the delivery chain from the manufacturers to transporters to supermarkets and finally to your dining table. So thank you.
I can say this is a very good innovation. So anyone have any question?
So Dr. Zhang, you had a very excellent speech. We know that TTI is the best commercialized material, but in China it's still in its infancy and there's no commercialized product. So it's still very difficult. I have two questions. First of all, you did this test on temperature 20, 30. Do you do this cross change test? Well, yes, we did that, but we just put it inside. Another question. So TTI, you use color to tell the consumers. So maybe it was green and now it's red. So there's a gradually change process. So maybe it's orange. Or say this point with the consumers. How did you solve that? How to make it very easy for consumers? For example, from blue to purple, that's the most sensitive one to consumers. We can put up this I put up this color chart for the consumers to understand, just like the pH value chart, so that everyone would understand which degree of parish. So you print it on the cover. Yeah, we hope that. Or you can have, a mobile app in a telephone. That's just some initial thought. Thank you, Dr. Zhang. So I have a question regarding regulation. So if the brand owner use this product, it's a very good upgrade of their image. So would there be regulatory mandate for that? So I know that in some countries, some key material, there was a mandatory requirement. For example, like in the process of transportation, whether the temperature was constantly kept. So, for example, like for vaccine, we have new directive on vaccine transportation. So we are also talking to China FDA about some possible application of this material in food packaging. We know this topic is very interesting, but we